Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you all for being here today. I would like to welcome you to the West London Institute of Technology anniversary event here at Uxbridge. My name is Darryl D'Souza. I'm CEO and Group Principal at HCUC, that's Harrow College and Uxbridge College. Now, we would of course prefer to have welcomed everyone in person on site, but rather than postpone, we've pressed ahead with this virtual event and look forward to being able to invite you onto site to see the facilities and meet our staff and students when it is possible to do so. So who do we have in the audience? A selection of invited guests, stakeholders, partners, IoT board members, colleagues, and of course, our students. Now, what we have to follow are a number of guest presentations from distinguished guest presenters, and then insights into partnership work that defines the West London IoT from our board members, HCUC colleagues, and some of our students themselves. This will also include a virtual tour of the facilities, and the event will culminate in our Employer Project Awards to various student groups. There will also be an opportunity to ask questions at the end. So without further ado, I would like to start things off by inviting none other than Boris Johnson, who's of course our local MP for Uxbridge, to provide the opening address.
As MP for Uxbridge and South Ruislip, I am proud to be celebrating West London Institute of Technology's first year anniversary. Opening last year with a new £8.6 million building at Uxbridge College, West London Institute of Technology aims to increase the uptake of higher technical education at level 4 and 5, tackling skill gaps in the STEM sectors and supporting the local and regional economy. For example, West London Alliance projected employer demand for level 4+ skilled engineers is over 2,800 per year up to 2022 and over 2,000 within the digital sector for the same period. West London Institute of Technology works in partnership with anchor employers, Fujitsu, Heathrow Airport and West London Business, as well as Brunel University, London, to ensure the digital, construction and engineering courses on offer provide the skills and knowledge needed in industry. These higher technical qualifications are more important than ever with the impact of COVID-19 affecting individual jobs and businesses. West London Institute of Technology will continue to inspire individuals from all ages, genders and backgrounds to consider the opportunities and benefits of taking their studies higher. I would like to congratulate all those involved in this major and important initiative and wish them all the very best in continuing to expand provision of higher level technical education in the West London area and beyond.
Right, that was great. Very good of Boris to have provided us with that address. And to move it on, we would now also thrilled to actually invite Gillian Keegan, the Parliamentary Under Secretary for State for Apprenticeship and Skills, and really looking forward to a brief introduction from Gillian on our events this afternoon. So welcome, Gillian. I hope you can hear us, and I hope we'll be able to hear you at this stage.
Well, thank you, Darryl, and hopefully you can hear me okay. And thanks very much to you all for inviting me to be part of your one-year anniversary celebrations. It's a great honour, and I do wish, like all of us, that I could be joining you in person, but I really do look forward to a time when I can come and meet you all face to face and just see your brilliant new building. I can see the picture, it looks amazing, and also discuss some of the brilliant work that you've been doing. West London was the very first IoT to sign their agreement with the Department for Education, so you will always have that pioneering place in history, and it's wonderful to see the impact it's already had, even during what has, I'm sure I don't need to remind you, has been a really difficult 12 months, and well done to all of you for an amazing achievement in what has been quite difficult circumstances. But despite these challenges posed by the pandemic, West London is delivering a diverse curriculum from electrical engineering, construction, to computing, and working in partnership with Brunel and employers such as Fujitsu and Heathrow and West London business organisation, as mentioned by Boris. You're really helping to plug huge skills gaps in our economy and provide those life-changing opportunities for students. And I know your 5th year, so I look forward to also coming along to that. You will have over 3,000 learner starts, and that's 3,000 learners accessing the really high level technical skills and the business skills that they need. I've been really delighted to hear about some early examples of the good work you're doing. I know you've had students to go on to exciting career paths, including one who secured a degree apprenticeship placement with Fujitsu after studying a level 3 cybersecurity course with the IoT. And I was really excited to hear about this example. First of all, because it's a company I know really well, and I see Andy's on the call here, as my husband actually worked as part of the management team for Fujitsu for many, many years, and they do so much, I know, to really encourage the next generation into those really high skilled jobs. So I'm really well aware of that. In fact, I went to open the cybersecurity centre with him one day a couple of years ago. And, you know, I know we're going to hear more about her success later on, but she's obviously made a brilliant choice. I know that from personal experience, because another reason it gave me such pleasure was that I am myself a former degree apprentice, and the first former apprentice actually to be apprenticeship and skills minister. So I am a huge fan of degree apprenticeship. So it's really brilliant to see them coming along so soon. So I personally welcome your support, your help, and your contribution to really setting up this important IoT network. You've been at the forefront of supporting the department in informing policy, developing the wider strategy, and measuring the success of the programme as well. IoT is a real priority for us. As you'll know, work is underway to build a cutting-edge forward-looking skills system in England to really revolutionise technical education, and IoTs are really central to this vision, and there's never been a better time to make these changes as we deal with the really unprecedented global pandemic, and you know, all of that, all the opportunities as well as the displacement that will bring. But IoTs will be essential in providing learners and employers with the skills they need to thrive. And we did launch a white paper just last week, which really sets out the skills for jobs white paper, exactly what you're doing there, making sure that what people are studying is what employers want, and they're really cutting edge skills, really. So organisations like the West London IoT, I look forward to working with you. You play a critical role in making sure this is a reality that will tackle the skills gap, will level up our communities. I know with your help that we can build a really truly cutting edge, future-proof skills system, and you are putting it into practice today, and I look forward to continue to work with you to deliver both individuals and employers. Thank you very much.
That's great. Thank you very much, Gillian, for that, and really appreciate the fact that you were able to join us today. I hope you can stay for a little while to get a flavour of what we're covering this afternoon. But many thanks for that. Okay, and at this stage, I would like to start proceedings off by inviting our Vice Chair at HCUC, Stephen Cochrane, to open up the events really for us with a few words of introduction. Stephen?
Thanks very much, Darryl, and good afternoon, everyone, and thanks to everybody who's made the time to join us today. The HCUC governing body are immensely proud of our Institute of Technology and what it means for West London. And we're also incredibly grateful for the support of our partners at Heathrow, Fujitsu, Brunel University and West London Business in making it all happen. We've heard already from our politicians about the importance of STEM subjects and how as a country we need to prioritise for the future through equipping young people with the right skills for employment in areas like construction, engineering and digital. So what you're seeing this afternoon is where the rubber has really hit the road, and it's tangible evidence of words and great ideas and good intentions being turned into action. So as a governing body, we've had a keen interest in the growth and success of our provision for employers and learners here in West London throughout this project. So I've personally had the privilege of being part of a very dynamic project board as our team set about turning all of the ideas and plans into reality. It really shows the power of collaboration and the collective power of such a wide range of high quality stakeholders. And stakeholders in West London who didn't want to just observe what might happen from the sidelines, but really wanted to get their sleeves rolled up and help us create the future. So when you consider the backdrop of the last 12 months, it would have been very easy to defer or postpone or dilute something like this, but we'd come too far with too much energy and appetite to make things happen. We've built a curriculum, a building, and taught students. So the HCUC governing body would like to pay tribute to all of those involved and congratulate you on what's been achieved for employers and learners here in West London. And I'm really looking forward to joining you through the tour this afternoon.
Thank you very much, Stephen. So perhaps we can have the next slide, and I think a chance for, we do have Jules, do we? Can I just check that we do have Jules Pipe available?
Hello, yes. Good afternoon.
Oh, wonderful, Jules. Thanks, and great that you could join us. So, Jules Pipe, everyone, Deputy Mayor for Planning Regeneration Skills at the GLA, and I'd be really pleased if you could say a few words before we go much further into our proceedings, Jules.
Yeah, with absolute pleasure. Sorry for the delay. Struggling with the Zoom passwords. They're a bit more used to Teams. Well, I'm really pleased to join you. I'm Jules Pipe. I'm the Deputy Mayor for Planning Regeneration and, most importantly of all, Skills at City Hall. And I'm really pleased to be with you this afternoon to mark what is the first anniversary of the West London Institute of Technology. It's hard to believe, I think, that it's been a year already since the opening last January as one of London's 3 IoTs. And what a year it's been for all of us, and particularly for the further education sector. I mean, since lockdown back in March, ACUC and the rest of London's colleges, you've just been doing an incredible job working with everyone, including with us at City Hall and the teams that we have. You know, working with us to ensure that as many learners as possible could continue with their studies through what are incredibly challenging times for everybody. And we're really pleased to be able to support so many of London's providers through this difficult period, hopefully supplying some stability during a period of great uncertainty where we struggled to do things without seeing each other face to face. So I'd like to thank you for all of that work. And thank you, because there are any number of reasons why it's so important and so valuable. You know, it's crucial that learners continue with their learning, that teaching and support staff continue to play the incredibly vital roles that you do for learners. And employers, you know, like the anchors you have as part of your IoT, you know, can also play a role in shaping the future workforce of London. And when 3 IoTs were proposed for London, City Hall was absolutely clear in our support for all 3 to go ahead, and we're really pleased that all 3 did. But what you're doing in bringing together partners such as Heathrow, Fujitsu, and you know, a number of other employers through the West London business area, you should really be congratulated in getting businesses to the core of what you're doing in the college. And not just in the IoT, but in the main college itself, where you know, you've led the way in piloting T-levels for London. But you've also got the work that you have in place linking up with Brunel as well, so that you've got progression routes in place as well, and making those clearer so that people, you know, looking for futures in technical occupations, you know, have that pathway that they can follow that will lead them to their aims and goals. And, you know, that's vital for them as individuals, but it's also vital for London's economy that people are helped to achieve that. You know, the role of technical education is more important now than ever before. And last week's white paper makes that clear as well. And IoTs delivering technical skills are going to be key platforms in helping us in London to take that forward. And doing this, you know, by enabling employers and higher education partners to be truly at the heart of shaping what FE can do for our local communities is absolutely crucial for London. And I'm absolutely happy to support you in those endeavours. So congratulations again on a fantastic first year. Well done.
Thank you very much, Jules. Okay, if we can have the next slide, and that's myself. So that really chimes with our thinking, Jules. So thank you for that. And just to draw really from what we've heard from Boris, Gillian, Stephen, and yourself, Jules, the vision we have is very much in line with what you've outlined there. So with regard to the way we see it, the West London Institute of Technology is one of high quality, clearly, higher technical education focused on highly sought after STEM technical industries. So I think that's the key foundation to what we're doing. And clearly employer-led, a really important factor, designed to provide opportunity and equip a diverse, and I reinforce that word, a diverse range of students with the STEM related technical and work ready skills, I think is important to emphasize. And skills that are relevant and in high demand by both employers and higher educational institutions for those progression opportunities you mentioned, Jules. And the West London Institute of Technology, we see as serving as a gateway to promising progression opportunities and enhanced earning potential and career prospects. Now, I think IITs in general are in a unique place to meet the opportunities and challenges in the FE and Skills white paper that you mentioned and published on here last week. And we believe will assist the government deliver its vision for future technical and higher technical education and skills. And as it says on the slide, at the heart is this concept of design engineering, multidisciplinary approaches across various sectors, we think, give it that cutting edge. And to ensure that we develop higher level skills for our students to solve real world problems. And I think that's a crunch part of what our students certainly over the last year have been finding. And obviously the main goal is to ensure that the economic recovery and productivity and the value in West London is realised. Now, the current environment, I think it's fair to say, and the need for economic recovery in West London in particular, is going to need flexible, adaptable, and relevant educational provision at the right level as businesses and technical industries seek to change to meet the changing demands. Now, we envisage the West London Institute of Technology essentially being different in a number of ways, and the way it combines a number of factors. And these are, I think the first one is very much opening up and widening opportunities. So it's accessibility to diverse and underrepresented types of students. I think allowing these to be able to engage in high quality, high level programs and within close local and regional proximity, and with flexible full-time and part-time delivery modes. In addition, affordable courses, I think very important in this day and age, to ensure that we are very cost effective in our offer in the way that students can gain these sought after higher level technical skills and qualifications. And all done in modern high-end technical facilities and high specification educational spaces, you'll get a glimpse of in a little while. In order to meet the raised expectation of students these days, and rightly so, and in order to enhance their learning experiences and assist them in high standards of achievement, as we always advocate at HCUC. And really, that's all brought about by the articulation of its academic programs in terms of content delivery and progression. And we're doing this very much in partnership with prestigious university expertise, namely Brunel University London, one of our anchor partners, and in partnership also with the awarding body Pearson, it should be clear as well. Now, importantly, as you rightly said, the influential steers we have in relation to employee engagement, I think also sets this sort of program apart, led by our key employer anchor partners, Heathrow, Fujitsu, and advised by West London Business, as you'll hear. And I think that the importance of the currency with industry really is the key to this. Programs developed in direct dialogue with employers, and we found that shaped to ensure relevance of occupational technical skills, as well as the wider essential skills, including digital, clearly in this day and age, that are demanded of this changing modern day workplace and digital environments that our students will be entering. And really, this is very much exemplified by the direct, real workplace relevant project work, and some of the awards that we'll see later relate to this, obviously. And I think all of that really enhances the employment prospects of the students that emerge from the West London Institute. So really, just to suffice to say, thanks to investment by government and support by partners, we are pleased to have been able to launch not only one of the only 12 currently IoTs in the country, but also, as you rightly said, Jules, one of 3 in London, and hence this West London IoT. We're very aware of our responsibilities in this respect, and we envisage the West London Institute of Technology developing in a collaborative way with West London partners, and we look forward to that momentum continuing. So thank you for that initial introduction. We're now going to go into the main part of the programme, and I'd like to hand over to Andrew Dakers, who's one of our board members and chair of the West London Business Group. Andrew, are you there?
I am, Daryl.
Come and do join us.
Thank you. Well, if I can sort of add my welcome to everyone with us today. I think we've got over 100 online now, which is absolutely fantastic as we mark this 1-year anniversary of the Institute of Technology going live. Although for many of us sat around the table, it's probably been more than 2 years since we first started the conversations as to what I suppose the underlying rationale behind getting an Institute of Technology into West London, but also what it was that we felt could fundamentally make the difference and ensure that the West London IoT is leading the charge nationally, which clearly, as you heard in our rapid signing of the contract, we have been from the get-go. Now, we move on to the next slide. I must first of all, I think, acknowledge the incredible range of businesses that step forward as we launch, but have stuck with us as far as possible along the way through what has been a very challenging 2020, and clearly the first half of this year isn't going to be easy either. But this gives you a flavour from Atkins to HS2 in the engineering space, to Balfour BC and Line JV in construction, on digital tech, global data, Austin Fraser, the list goes on, and then some of our cross-cutting partners from Pearson to Hillingdon Council. I'm not going to name the anchor partners because we've already had plenty of mentions, but that diversity of employers that we've been able to bring together has been fantastic, and as I'm going to come on to, absolutely intrinsic to shaping the curriculum, and in that I think doing something quite different that clearly from all of the national and local debate of recent years is absolutely critical as we move forward. We move on to the next slide. I'll start to reveal what's different about our employer-led approach, and I think I should start by acknowledging that, of course, in FE colleges like HCUC, universities like Brunel, there is a very long-standing tradition of employer engagement and collaboration. But having done it well, we thought we could be doing it even better with the Institute of Technology, and really kind of leveraging the advantages of bringing FE and HE round the table together to provide a sort of coherent pathway for learners from one space to the next, all under the umbrella of the IoT. So you'll see here there are sort of 4 pillars, in a sense, to our employer-led approach, all wrapped around the core vision that Daryl introduced a short time ago. At its heart is our employer advisory group, which meets several times a year, has a fantastic diversity of voices, and we're constantly sort of recruiting new employers to ensure that no stone is left unturned. And what those sat around at the table and participating in the advisory group will find is that sat alongside the heads of department and those sort of on the front line of authoring and delivering the curriculum, we are able in the space that's been created to reflect on the very latest labour market insights that come through. That's where our colleagues at the West London Alliance have had a critical role to play. So we can get our hands on that latest data to get a sense of the direction of travel in the months and years ahead. We're able to bring in insights from our employer partners on sectoral trends, horizon scanning research that might have been commissioned, for example, within Heathrow or within Fujitsu to drive their business strategy directly. But in this space, it is shared with all partners around the table to help inform our collective thinking. And that then feeds through to the curriculum writing process and shaping the overarching student experience at the Institute. And those four pillars, bringing them together, is certainly a huge effort for everyone involved. It's a co-creation exercise that I think has really started to shape the culture of the Institute moving forward, and has also, I think, helped develop a deeper collective understanding of the challenges that are faced day to day by educationalists, as well as those experienced by business partners around the table. And that's meant for the business community, of course, which I'm one of the representatives, really kind of getting our heads around the time that it can take to bring a new curriculum on stream, the lead times involved, what points in the annual cycle are most useful to be giving voice to particular opportunities and sort of ideas for the future shape of delivery. So all of that has kept us very busy, as you can imagine. If we move on to the next slide, I'm going to wrap up just by highlighting two opportunities. One is here and now, later today, as we move into sort of breakout groups. I think Pat's going to amplify shortly, but we're really keen to kind of get your feedback and latest thoughts on how the labour market continues to shift. Clearly had huge disruption in the past 12 months, what that might mean for the delivery that's going to be in demand over the next few years. But I also wanted to put a spotlight on one of our Institutes of Technology innovations, the role of visiting technical fellow. And this is a title that's conferred by the Institute on persons of appropriate distinction whose connections with the IoT extend to volunteering. We suggest 2 days per term, 1 day prep, 1 day delivery, to contribute in the classroom in providing masterclasses and other content to enrich the curriculum. It includes individuals that might not have an academic background, but have attained distinction in their profession and workspace. So if you think that could be you, if you might already be volunteering with the IoT and think, why haven't I been awarded the title? Or you think you've got time in the year ahead, please let myself and other IoT colleagues know, as I'm looking forward in the not so distant future to seeing our first technical fellows appointed. So back to Daryl, I think.
Thanks very much, Andrew, for that. Really good coverage and gives a good flavour of what the Institute of Technology is about here at West London. So at this point, and I hope the technology will work on this front, we've got a short clip of some of our students and really the views they have in relation to their experiences. So over to...
I used to study in West London Institute of Technology because there are only 12 Institute IoTs and in this whole UK. And I've been studying in this college, which is like a few steps away from me, and I'm really fortunate to have that.
Last year I was doing H&C, which I got the opportunity to work in a team for Heathrow project, which was about IoT biometrics and how we can make the system better for Heathrow. I really enjoyed it because we were able to work in a team, interact with the employer, and it just gave us the opportunity to see how everything was in the real life. I did come into this college doing early years, and then I changed to computing. The reason for that was because I saw that IT was going big and worldwide, and I thought there isn't much women doing this course for computing, and I thought that will give a great opportunity to allow other women to know that, okay, women can actually do IT.
I choose this course because all allows you to be flexible. So if you want to study and work as well, you can do at the same time. Instead of like having a course that is really long, the HNC is just 1 year. So basically it allows you to study, get some vendor qualifications, and to have the practical skills actually that they require on the job.
If you want to get into information and technology, this is like a great pathway to choose. Like start off with BTech and then go into like the whole HNC or HND, whichever pathway you choose.
Okay. Right, at this stage, my pleasure to introduce Pat Carvalho, who's my colleague, principal at Harrow College and deputy CEO, to take us through the next bit and I think a little virtual tour. Over to you, Pat.
Okay. Thank you, Daryl. Before we start, Juliet, if you could just make me a co-host, that would be good as well, and then we can get on with the video.
Right, done. Thank you.
So what we're going to show you is just a short virtual tour of the IoT. So I'd like to welcome you to the West London Institute of Technology. I just say, when we were designing the IoT, we wanted to ensure that it has a distinctive feel, to bring alive the spaces, and we chose to use powerful imagery to do this. So as you can see, this has included our stairways, where we have used images of a few of our current students. And I wanted to thank them for giving us permission to do so. This next section is our second floor. It's really our flagship floor, where we are looking to ensure that we can have a focus on collaboration between students, staff, and employers. And we have a large open lounge study area, as well as a larger space for events, as well as for bespoke training, which is in situ, or indeed could be done remotely as well. And there's a few pictures of our small pods, which we've got scattered around the floor for group work. The next set of pictures are sort of pictures of our classrooms, and continuing the theme that we have around making sure that we've got really bold imagery that says something to the students in every part of the IoT. And although COVID has presented a few logistical difficulties, we have forged ahead with our development plans and are now looking forward to imminent arrival of some of our high-tech equipment for our engineering workshops. So we really hope that we can show you these in the coming months. And I suppose finally, just to say, we hope you've enjoyed this quick virtual tour, and we look forward to inviting you to see the IoT for yourselves in the not too distant future. Okay. So that's a very whistle-stop tour of the building that you can't see physically at the moment. So moving on, I wanted now to hand over to Professor Stefan Simons from Brunel University of London, who's also one of our partners on the IoT board.
Okay, thank you, Pat, and great to see such a fantastic space. I can't wait to be able to actually use it. So welcome everyone. I think we're slightly over time, so I won't keep you. Obviously, I echo what's been said before me. But I'd also like to state that Brunel is absolutely delighted to be the HE anchor partner to the West London Institute of Technology. We regard ourselves as a community university. We're already doing so much with local employers and other parts of our community, not least in response to this pandemic. And so being part of the West London Institute of Technology really gives us further opportunity to cement those relationships with the people in the area. So I've just got a couple of minutes to show you some fantastic progress that we've already made in 1 year in delivering some of those good intentions that Steve Cochran spoke about earlier. We put a lot of innovative ideas into the proposal to the Department of Education, and I'm pretty confident that we're delivering on those already. So the first thing that we have done, which I think has created a lot of interest from other IoTs, is that we've used some of our PhD students from Brunel. We call them doctoral researchers now, and they've been acting as facilitators to the level 4 and 5 students, the HNC, HND students, in helping them develop their essential skills and supporting the employer projects that you're going to be seeing some, the award winners later on. And I know that the doctoral researchers are with us in the audience, and I just want to say a big thank you to them for all the efforts they've put in and the success that has come out of that. So well done to them. It also was mentioned by Jules Pipe about the progression to level 6 and beyond. This is obviously a very key part of the HE-FE collaboration, and we've already developed one bespoke level 6 top-up in electrical engineering, and we've been very careful to work with our colleagues at HCUC in mapping the curricula and making sure that any gaps are filled, and we'd like to thank Pearson as well for helping us to do that. And so we really are producing those pathways to higher education. Of course, this it's really important to have good relationships between staff in both institutions, and we're now providing opportunities for staff to start to work together and shadow each other in both institutions, see how we're teaching, what we're teaching, and what we can do together. And that's, again, another very nice way of making us distinct. We're also developing a learning factory on construction. Construction clearly is a very important sector in West London, not least because of HS2. We know that there are many job opportunities in that sector, and so we'd like to focus at least part of what we're doing with the IoT on that, and bring in applied research as well. Clearly, Brunel is very successful as a research institution, and we can help our FE colleagues in really getting involved in research and benefiting from that. We have a lot of experience, particularly with working with SMEs through our Co-Innovate program. And I see this as being a key part of the West London Innovation District that may be mentioned later on. And finally, clearly, the thoughts of the needs of our employers are really upfront, and of course we'll be developing degree apprenticeships together with HCUC, and specific CPD courses focused on employer needs, and hopefully making these for credit, so that employees, people already in work, can start to build up their own degrees. So lots of exciting opportunities, and well done everybody so far. And I'm really looking forward to working to continue working with HCUC as partners in this fantastic Institute of Technology. Pat, you're still
Thank you, Stefan. And just moving quickly on to Gary Charlton, who's our Deputy Director for Programmes at Heathrow.
Thank you, Pat. Just go on to the next slide. So I'm Gary Charlton from Heathrow. We've been collaborating with Uxbridge College and West London IoT for the last 4 years. We've been working with all levels of their excellent students, and I do say excellent students, HND, HNC, and especially T levels. So why collaborate, I say? Well, it's just the right thing to do, and we should be working together to help the local community. However, for me, the main area of focus is the students and preparing them for work. For T levels, we interview them as just as though they're preparing for a job interview. However, for me, the most important points about working in our business is to get the students to understand the softer skills such as communication, creative thinking, problem solving, etc., as well as the technical skills. And Pat actually listened and added that into the curriculum as well, which was absolutely great for everybody, really. It's always a surprise for me, but the students do say they love shadowing people and going to meetings to see how teams solve problems together, rather than actually tours of the airport, which always surprises me. It's always about showing the different variety of roles that are available in the market as well to the students. Heathrow employees also benefit by improving their staff growth and personal development, and examples of that are things like leadership skills. We have a great fun timetable, but it's very packed over 45 days, for instance, for T levels. But going forward, we're actually working on it now to adapt it more to online rather than in the current climate. Although it's tough in the environment at Heathrow at the minute, it's still a great place to work with its partners to give the students an inspirational work experience as well. I know Gillian covered it before, and Andy probably will, but a big thing for me was in February 2020, Heathrow ran a trial of T levels with our suppliers, 8 students, and I was delighted that about 5 of them were girls in a cybersecurity course, which was outstanding for me. Out of the 8, 2 subsequently applied to Fujitsu's cyber graduate scheme. Both reached the final stage, with one being successful. To me, this was a tremendous achievement for all taking part, and it made it all worthwhile for me. However, the real win for me is when we get the students who arrive on the first day, and then after seeing them at after 45 days, we've totally transformed them into different people in terms of confidence and promoting themselves. It's just a joy to see. The West London Institute of Technology means a lot to me in Heathrow. We're delighted to keep working with them in the future. And to me, it's all about preparing the students to gain successful employment. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. That's really great, and we really appreciate the work that you and Heathrow have done with us over this period of time. So our next speaker is Andy Halpin, who is Education Sales Specialist and User Division for Fujitsu.
Thanks, Pat. If you can go on to the next slide. Brilliant. So I think it was just to share with everybody, really. You know, there's been lots of stories and lots of opportunities. This has been Fujitsu's vision for the IoT, and we've been working in close collaboration with Daryl, Pat, and the team probably for about 3 years now. But I think when we look at this is all of those bullet points and we bring that together. I think we all look at the IoT as the student journey into employment and creating those opportunities for a global vendor like Fujitsu, as well as those opportunities for students. I think one I just wanted to highlight is there's 3 key areas for me which have really shone with working with the HCUC team is the relevance of the curriculum, the collaboration between industry, as in Fujitsu, working closely with education. That's really come through with working closely with HCUC, and obviously bringing opportunities for all. So over the last 12 months, a student, Fatima, who has been mentioned by a few people today, did some work experience with Fujitsu, after completing her cybersecurity level 3 extended diploma at Harrow and Uxbridge College 12 months ago. So she did a 6-week placement with the team at Heathrow and with Fujitsu. I think there was a plan there for Fatima to go into higher education, but I think having the 6-week placement actually gave Fatima another direction of an apprenticeship, and has also given her a different perspective on her career path. There's a couple of quotes I've got which I just wanted to share. Was from Fujitsu into the area that Fatima's gone into cybersecurity. From Fujitsu, we're really pleased to welcome Fatima into the cybersecurity technical architecture and consulting team at Fujitsu. From our initial contact through the apprenticeship assessment and into the role of apprentice technical architect, Fatima has shown an enthusiasm and aptitude which will serve her well in her career. Her college education has prepared her well for this role, and the team at Fujitsu look forward to working with her and other young talent to meet the ever-growing cybersecurity challenge in the years ahead. I think the other icing on the cake is obviously Fatima is female. Fujitsu as a global IT provider do have a big push on promoting more girls into IT. And that's me, Pat.
Thank you, and it's really really great to hear about how well Fatima is doing at Fujitsu as well. So on to our next speaker, and I'd like to welcome Barjinder Grill to say a few words, who was a founding member of the IoT board, and is also a founding partner of his new company called For Sale Partnership.
Thank you, Pat. Next slide, please. So I'd just also like to add my congratulations to the students and the staff on the first year anniversary. And as Pat has said, it's been a real privilege to have served on the board for what feels like quite a few years now. When I served on the board, I was Director of Programmes for Heathrow, and now, as Pat has said, set up a new venture with a few colleagues, and still privileged to serve in an advisory capacity. And I think the key message really now is for employers, this isn't an opportunity, the IoT is a necessity. And the reason for that really is, as we've seen through the pandemic, there is a new normal that's emerging. The new normal is fundamentally different from what was there before. The IoT was there to help create and bridge the skills gap towards what's called Industry 4.0, or the fourth industrial revolution, as others may know it. The reality is we have seen businesses that have now in effect ceased trading. We've seen businesses that have repivoted their business models and been very successful, and we've seen other businesses that have not been affected by the pandemic. If anything, they've grown. So what this has really shown is actually the acceleration towards the digitalization agenda and the STEM subjects is more crucial now than ever, which is why I say this is not an opportunity for employers, it's a necessity. And it's really fortunate that the timing of the West London Institute of Technology, it's already there. Having 3 IoTs in London, having the West London Institute of Technology right there, it's poised at the right time. And what we're really seeing now is, a couple of really key points, which is around organizations are now going through simplification, and we're seeing that. And the simplification is through improving productivity, driving efficiency, automation, looking at new markets and new opportunities and challenges. And equally, that's really lending itself to the digitalization agenda. Gary sort of mentioned, whilst we're talking about the STEM subjects, leadership is also important. So as much focus on the EQ agenda as the IQ is critically important. And finally, for me, if you add all of this together, you'll see a graph in the bottom right-hand side. Now that's from Microsoft. Now, if you look at it, Boris was talking about 2,000 jobs over X number of years in this part of London. If you look at it, we're part of a global society. And when you look at the numbers of jobs, you know, we're talking about 149 million new jobs by 2025 globally in the digitalization agenda. And you can see that the different skill sets now more than ever, it's so critical. It's an opportunity that I think West London Institute of Technology can help bridge those gaps, as can the other IoTs, and with the employers really bridging that. There was already a gap before we went into the pandemic 12 months ago. That gulf has just opened up significantly. But it's a great opportunity, and not just for you know, the traditional learners, but for the reskilling and not forgetting the numbers of people that have been displaced as part of their roles. And this is a great opportunity now. And again, through the funding and the skills grant, great opportunity. So I wish West London Institute of Technology all the success into the future. Thank you, Pat.
That's lovely. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Bally. And then, so just before we move on to our student awards, just like to invite Karandeep Dillon, who's a graduate student, just to say a few words.
Hi, can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Yes.
First of all, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you, Pat and Caroline, for inviting me and let me share my views on how I spent my 7 years in college. So, first of all, I enjoyed attending Oxford College because all the staff was helpful. Not only the teachers, the student support was also quite supportive. And also, part of my course, I had the opportunity to do work experience with the eLab team, which I wanted to do in the future, like in IT support. If I didn't had that opportunity, I wouldn't be able to carry out my, which was my current job, which I had in IT. And if I didn't attend Oxford College in general, to be honest, I wouldn't be here now talking and giving my views for the future students. Thank you.
All right.
Sorry, sorry that this was the first time I was speaking. I was hesitating.
Thank you very much. Okay. So I'd like to move forward now and hand over to Dylan McTaggart, our Deputy Principal, and Judith O'Neill, Director for HE.
Thank you, Pat. Thanks, Karandeep. I thought you did really well. Your enthusiasm shone through, and I saw lots of heads nodding throughout what you were saying. So I'm sure future students will recognise the enthusiasm with which you approached your studies. Welcoming students into this session, I'll ask students to unmute, and I'll name you when it's time for you to come in. So be prepared for that. Hover over the unmute button. These awards are I'm proud to present these awards. They're a recognition of the collaborative work between our anchor partners, between the employers, between college students and Pearsons, of course. Particular thanks to Stefan Brunel at university and the team there and the work that's brought this forward at pace. And there are named employers throughout who have really led on much of this work. And Gary noted a few of them earlier, which was fantastic. The first project award, again led by Brunel, with the partners, the Material Technology Centre, was an engineering project brief. And the project was to innovate an idea for a specific sector or field, focusing on one product or system to solve potential issues for renewable energy sources. And I'm sure that played into some of the graph work that Belly just showed us before in those emerging pools of employment routes. If we flip over and present the first winner of the award, and the winner goes to Team Olympus London, and the certificate that they will receive here, I think there's a bit of applause there, Juliet. I didn't quite catch that. We might have to clap along or drum roll at the same time. But I'll call in the team spokesman in a second, but the award goes to Ankit, Juliet, Joshua, and Liban, and of course was in partnership with MTC Limited. So our thanks to them. And if you just skip on to the next slide, Juliet. Okay. And so Team Olympus's project, they say was a simple idea, and I'm sure we'd suggest that maybe it isn't. And it looked at the aerodynamics of a balloon that was powered through a renewable source of energy, and very in keeping with green energy skills we're pushing at the moment. And I'd like to invite in the team spokesman, Joshua Fernandez, to say a little bit about the project. Just a sentence, Joshua. What did it mean working with the employers? And how did you enjoy the project, if you were there, Joshua?
Hi, my name is Joshua, and I would like to say hi to everyone. And it's a privilege to be here. And first of all, it was because it's my first year studying at Oxbridge, so it's quite hard, getting used to meeting new people, the new environment. But I was made feel warm. The environment was really good. The students were really friendly. So yeah, thanks to them. And then yeah, about idea, everyone played an important role in the group. Like everyone had a say, and then we made sure we took everyone's idea and we formed this one simple idea. And yeah, that was it really. And but also increased our critical thinking as a group, as a whole merge. It showed us how resilient we were to presenting the idea. And yeah, everyone played a massive role, and congratulations to everyone in the group.
Bravo, Joshua. Thank you very, very much. That's fantastic. And we have a second winner also for this project. So again, in partnership with MTC, and thanks, including the work with Brunel there. And the second winner is Team W&H Energy UK, and that is. Oh, I've got to pause for the applause. I'll get better at that, Juliet. And the awards go to Hannard, Ethan, and Arnold. And the team spokesman is Ethan. Ethan, are you there? Tell us a little bit about your project. What did it mean to you?
It was pretty good. We had to just undertake new experiences as a team. We had to work together. We had to understand the best way of completing the task. So we built a hybrid energy system to utilize space and generate electricity for cheap.
Fantastic. And did you enjoy the engagement with the employers?
Yeah, they were very helpful and helped us understand exactly what we could do, and we learned a lot from them.
Okay, look, thank you very much. I really appreciate you being here, Ethan, and good luck with your future. I hope the project puts you in a good position for your employment going forward.
Thanks.
I'll now pass on to my learned colleague, Judith, to introduce Project 2. Judith, are you with us?
Yes, thanks, Dylan. So those projects were from our mechanical and then the electronics HNCs delivered in our ENGME school. And before I move on to computing at Harrow, I would just like to thank all of the as well as working with Brunel and the PhD students and the employers, the HE program leaders. You know who you are, who have been working on this piece of work really since sort of late last spring to make sure that these projects have come together, and I'm very appreciative of the work that they've done. So this is the project that's delivered by our HNC a group over at Harrow, and the project was involved researching the benefits of the secure access service edge space and how it can help businesses adapt during the global pandemic. So obviously very, very relevant there. So we can move on to the next slide for the winning team. And the winning team there was Ahmed, Dennis, Mariam, Ria, and Christopher. And I know I've got a spokesperson for that group to come and just say, so very well done. Thanks again for the applause, Juliet. So if we could have the slide for this group, please. So Ahmed, are you there to say just a couple of words about your project?
Yeah, obviously. So I would love to thank you all about to give us this nice opportunity to look about SASE, which is Secure Access Service Edge. and it's like a cloud network. It was like really good working with Mr. Elon, which the employers of Palo Alto Networks. He gave us a very good information about SASE. Like, to be honest, I didn't know anything about SASE before, but now like it's very good. Like, it's very good opportunity to know about it, especially when we are in this pandemic and we need to work home. So SASE is gonna save for you time and gonna save for you like some to go outside to your workplace, so that you can work it online. So yeah, thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, Ahmed. And I'll hand back to Dylan for the next awards.
Thank you very much. And the next award is for the computing project at Hayes, and their partnership was with Brunel, of course, the HCUC staff, and Heathrow Airport. So really excited, I'm sure they were to be involved in that. And this was a Heathrow-based project. Belly, you may want to chip in, but using OneID to improve the check-in process at Heathrow. Also Gary on that matter. And if I turn us over to the winners. And the winners are Hamza, Raraz, Shivani, Nikolay, Richard, and Anusia, and Sam Yates. Congratulations. Excellent. I managed to, I caught it that time. Fantastic. The certificate will be coming to you very soon. And if we move to the next slide, please, Juliet. And I'd like to welcome in Shivani and Sam, the team spokesmen. Shivani and Sam, are you there?
Hi there. Yeah, I'm Sam.
Hi, Sam. And have we got Shivani also? Okay, Sam, we'll start with you if that's okay.
Yeah, no,
Hi there,
that's
Shivani.
fine. Hi, yeah, good afternoon, everyone.
Tell us about your project.
I have. I don't think I've got it to present.
No, just you can just talk us through a couple of the key points. How did it go for you? That'd be great.
Yeah, no, it was really good. We all worked really well together as a team. We were basically set an assignment, a mini project to research into the biometrics that could be used in Heathrow Airport. And so we came up with a concept of OneID that is basically a document-free process based on identity management through biometrics recognition. So either facial recognition, fingerprint recognition, or iris recognition. Passengers identify themselves at each airport. Sorry, bear with me.
No, that's great.
Yeah, passengers identify themselves at each airport touch point using a biometric recognition. The objective is to achieve interoperable system coordination worldwide. Passengers will have a more seamless experience. Airlines and airports will be more cost effective and cost efficiency, and the governments would have enhanced security.
It sounds fantastic and something we may see in airports going forward when the travel industry reboots
so.
and we're allowed to. So fantastic. Yeah. Did you manage to engage? You obviously engaged with Heathrow a lot through that. And how was that experience with Heathrow, the Heathrow team?
Yeah, no, it was fantastic. I think it was, yeah, to add really during the COVID-19, I think it's sort of vital, yeah, to have this contactless approach to sort of check in and things like that, and hopefully speeding up. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Look, I really appreciate your time, and I'm going to move on to the next award. So thank you for being here. And I'll pass back to Judith.
Okay, so again, this project was with Heathrow, and this is our new course, our cybersecurity HNC, which is based here at the Uxbridge campus. And this was about using biometrics and checking in at the airport, again, using a mobile phone. So if I could just, there's a really, going to be a growth area for this, cybersecurity, and I think, we all realise the importance of that. And so this team was Abdul, Danielle, Richard, Ryan, Suvisna and Telax. Round of applause for them. And if we can go to the next slide, and so we can see a little bit more about this project. And I have Ryan and Telax, I understand, here. So Ryan, Telax, are you there?
Yep, hello, we are here.
Hi there.
Oh, both of you, fantastic. So first of all, I'll come to Ryan first. Ryan, just tell us a little bit more just about the projects and what you guys brought together.
The project we did was, I would say it went okay, but there was a lot of issues, but we managed to do it anyway. So I'm happy with that and everything. I would say we worked very well as a team, and we actually came up with a very good few ideas and everything.
But I think that's a key thing, though. I think probably all of
Yeah.
us here would realise that sometimes when we're at work, things don't always go smoothly. And when you can overcome those challenges as a team, that's almost better than if it goes smoothly in the first place. You get an even greater sense of achievement. You think?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. So Telax, I know you're there as well. So tell us about how the employer engagement was for you into this project. Did you enjoy that part of it?
Yeah, we enjoyed it. The only issue was the person that was supervising us couldn't help us as much as we thought we could. I think there was a bit of issue with like communication. So it was mainly up to our tutor and our group to just like kind of put something together and present it to the people at Heathrow. But we pulled through. We managed to do a decent presentation, and yeah, I think we've done a really good job despite the minor mishaps.
Okay, no, that's really, really good. So thank you very much for being here and for bringing that project through in the end. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'll hand back to Dylan.
Thanks, Judith, and thanks all. So the final project is more of a case study, and due to COVID reasons, we weren't able to bring in the employers and the wider work as we had initially intended. But yet, those students, it was our intention and the staff at the IoT for those students not to miss out, but to carry forward with best endeavours. And so this project was a case study in the built environment. Its focus was on the growing demand for 3D reconstruction and in construction projects, particularly in digital transformation and the work of smart buildings going forward. So if we flip over to the winners, and the Certificate of Excellence goes to Khadija and Anthony, and I'm not sure that either Khadija and Anthony are with us.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, you are? Okay, fantastic. Great to have you here. Khadija, could you give us a little insight into your case study project?
Basically, we were using the LiDAR scanner, which is like a camera which can basically take 3D photos of a room, and it has lasers on it as well. So basically, it can kind of make a 3D image of a room, and then or whatever's in the room. We had to move it around the room into different locations to kind of get a 3D map of what was inside the room, and that way you can kind of like see where all of the assets are, and it maps out everything, and you can make like a virtual reality a model like that, so you can like walk around and kind of almost like a virtual tour you could do of what's in the room.
It looks fantastic. And is that are they your team members there, are they?
Well, that's me there, yeah, and that was Khadija in earlier shots, yeah. I was just using the camera, so you had to move it around to different parts of the room, so it could take a 360 view photo of what was in there, and then it would map it out on the software on the iPad, and you could you could tell exactly how far everything is by the lasers and stuff. So it's really interesting because it's very beneficial, because if you're not there, you can basically anyone could pretend to be there.
Okay, look, thank you very much. I'm gonna ask you to pause there, but I really appreciate you being available and bringing your session to life. And I can see that Juliet's playing a little bit of the video work that came from your project. So really exciting. Thank you very much. and I'll bring these awards to an end. But I must say before I pass on that how grateful we are to the employers, to Brunel, and to the PhD students who were involved throughout for bringing this work to life. You can hear from the students how different and how visceral it felt in terms of engagement in the real work environment. So super stuff for the many projects. Must also thank the HCUC staff, Judith and others who really threw themselves into it throughout and worked tirelessly with the students. What a great opportunity, and I'll pass on. Thank you very much. I think it's back to you, Daryl.
Hey, thank you very much, both Dylan and Judith there. I think great to see, and you really felt that real world experience, I think, at hand. And I think Judith said it all with, you know, sometimes those, when it doesn't go smoothly, is exactly the key learning points that take place. So look, I'm well aware of time, so just wanted to bring this to a close and thank everybody firstly for attending. Much appreciated. I hope you've got a little insight to the sort of momentum and the work that's being generated here with the West London IoT and the students. Thank the students themselves for some excellent work despite these restrictions. And a special thanks to our presenters, you know, Boris Johnson for his address, Julian Keegan certainly for appearing live, and you know, very much appreciated, and Jules Pipe as well. And then, of course, our governors and our board members for all the inputs that they've had. Many thanks there. We look forward to continue building the momentum here, as we put it, in the West London IoT. Wish you all safe passage in your journeys home, I jest, and look forward to the next time we actually can present this building and its contents and its work in reality, whenever that may be. But thank you all. And if you do want to find out a little bit more about the West London IoT, we do have a LinkedIn site, a website, and I'm sure you can also access those links through our normal college website. So thank you all. Thanks, Pat. Is there anything that you finally want to say, Pat, or is that we can close there?
Daryl, we've got a few moments left for the last 10 minutes, and for those of you that would like to stay on, we'd very much like to hear your own views about how we can how we might take forward the IoT. Andrew Dacus, I wonder if you want to kind of lead.
Well, absolutely. I mean, we're conscious that the hour is late, so please, will not be offended if for anyone that wants to slip away at this point. I know we all have lots of other commitments and pressures on our time these days, and I know some of you active participants in the employer advisory group may already feel you have an active channel there through which you're getting your voice heard. But we didn't want to miss this opportunity for anyone that's with us tonight that we don't see quite so much of, to have the opportunity either to ask any questions of the team, points of clarification, ideas may have been sparked by the presentations this evening. It may be that you think there are particular challenges that aren't on our radar that we need to be picking up on in the weeks and months ahead. So please, I don't know whether we have a live hands up option. If not, I'm going to be flipping to gallery mode, so you can just give us a wave and we will pass the microphone to you, or alternatively, please make use of the chat window to put any questions to us in there. So I think Pat and I, probably Daryl too, will be certainly around for the next 15 minutes to take any questions, any thoughts that you'd like to put our way at this point, making sure that our door constantly remains open to all your ideas and input. As I said, if you'd like to cut in, please just take your microphone off mute. You can give us a wave if your video is on, but equally do make use of the chat window if you prefer to put questions. But for those, fantastic, David, come on in.
Yeah, hello, I'm David Brough. I chair the Hayes Town Partnership, and I just wanted to say some fantastic stories that you've got there from the achievements of the students. The question really is about how we tell the wider community all of this good news. You know, the local press now has really disappeared down the plug hole. Get West London on the internet is all full of violence and negative stories. So we have a big challenge about how do we tell our local communities, you know, what young people are achieving at Uxbridge College and Hayes campus with the help of the college staff and all the partners. So have you got a plan for communications that recognises the point I've just made?
That's a pertinent question and I've often discussed at the board meetings. Pat, Daryl, colleagues, do you want to come in?
Yeah, go for it, Pat, and then we can probably bring Lucy in. I'm sure she's champing at the bit to come in as well.
Yes, I'm sure. Lucy's head of marketing. So we've got we've obviously got a press release in terms of this particular particular event for the IoT and promoting that, and with the additional commentary from Jules Pipe and Gillian Keegan. As well as Boris Johnson. So we will make sure all of those go out in bite-sized chunks through our social media, including LinkedIn, as well as we will be putting this obviously out on our website and actually communicating with a number of papers, online, such as FE Week, as well as the local press. I recognise it's online, but that's, we will be communicating with them as well. So we will also make sure that it's internally, because our students are our biggest advocate, as well as our staff, that we're promoting internally as well.
And just to follow up on what Pat said there, obviously in this day and age, digital very much at the heart of West London IoT's curriculum offer, but in turn how we communicate with our audience as well. So using that social media, using the website. So we've got some very specific channels and a dedicated website for the IoT as well. And within certainly my team and Caroline, who's with us today, who is leading on the marketing effort for the IoT. We are very much involved in sharing that message and also getting involved in other groups as well with other IoTs around the country, and perhaps having more of a national presence as well, just so that we can start sharing what is going on with IoTs around the country and just harnessing that good work and sharing good practice. So we've got lots of things, as Pat said, some bite-sized chunks of content that are going out, but also some other ways of sharing those messages, not only with potential students, but obviously employers and our local businesses and the community that we work with to bring them on board as well with what we're doing.
I'm just wondering whether we can share in the chat window a link to our Twitter account and also the LinkedIn page, so that anyone that's with us today that isn't yet following the IoT can do, and to help us get the message out far and wide.
Thanks, Andrew. I've just popped the website in there as well, and we'll get the handles put in as well, but you can obviously link to the social from the website as well. So a couple of options there for folks. Thanks.
Thank you, David. Really good question. That is certainly
Can I
front
just
of mind.
quickly come back? I totally agree with you about using social media, and that's right for what you're doing. But I'd like to reach a lot of people in Hayes who aren't on social media. And there's still a lot of people in our communities who don't use social media, but they need to be told this story. So I produce a weekly email news bulletin that goes to 500 local groups and individuals, and I'd be very happy to use that as one small way to spread the good news. But I just want to plug really for people who aren't on social media, how can we reach them?
Yeah, no, absolutely fair point, David. There are a number of people who don't solely use those channels, and that's something in terms of our effort where we're looking, particularly with local community and Hayes Town Partnership newsletter. We're very familiar with, and again, I will definitely send some information your way, and obviously we'll be thinking about other ways that we can use those what we would term as the offline channels, the more traditional channels as well. Yeah, thank you.
Anyone for any more questions, please, as David did, just take your microphone off, put your video camera on if possible, and do shout out or use the chat window. if there aren't any more questions, and I'm going to run a 10-second sort of countdown to 0 now.
Whilst we run the countdown, Andrew, just to say there has been some comments left in the chat. I just thought I'd share those. People who have enjoyed the sessions and have valued the contributions from staff and from students. I'm sure some of you have seen those coming through, but just to highlight those as well, which is great. So thank you folks for your efforts and for coming and for sharing your comments too.
Indeed. No, it's been a fantastic evening, a multimedia experience, and we'd expect no less of the IoT. So thank you all. And if questions do spring to mind or ideas for the future, as always, please don't hesitate to reach out to Pat, Darryl, myself, and the rest of the team.
Thank you
very much, Andrew, and goodbye all, and see you anon. Thank you very much.